everybody's here. It's a bit difficult to count you. So of course this is the famous town hall of Lubeck. This is the square market where we are now. This town hall is one of the most beautiful town halls in Germany, because unfortunately during the war many town halls were destroyed. This town hall was built in a different period, so the building got bigger. From, for example, on the left, the white wall that you see over there, this is built in Renaissance style. Behind the white wall, you see an older part, this red brick with a display wall. In Lubeck, we often have on the top of the houses display walls. Now, why do we have these display walls? Because the people, they wanted to make you think that their house is bigger, right? So they built these display walls on the top of the houses to make the building look more impressive. Here we have, and what you will notice in Lubeck, you will see a lot of these display walls in form of steps. You will see this later on when we walk. Right. In front of the town hall, you have the main shopping street in front of the town hall. Today is Saturday, so the shops are open. So now we're gonna walk around past the Church of St. Mary. We're going to walk to a museum, the Museum of Willy Brandt. Willy Brandt received the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1971. In Lubeck we have 3 people that receive a Nobel Prize, 2 writers and 1 politician. And inside the Willy Brandt Museum, in the courtyard, you have an authentic piece of the Wall of Berlin. Right? Then we will enter the Hospital of the Holy Spirit, hopefully St. Jacob Church, and then we will come back to go for lunch. Our restaurant is on this street over there. And after lunch, you will have about 45 minutes of free time before we walk back to the bus. Right. So the English-speaking guests, you can please already walk in that direction towards the church. I will meet you over there. I'm just going to translate now in Italian. Dietro. E vedete che questa parte è mattone, è una colore rossa però molto scura. Hanno utilizzato sano da viale con l'argile per avere questo colore. Bene, allora infatti se vi guardate indietro vedete un edificio con questo muro alla testa che ha una forma di gradino. Questo è tipico, questo è un muro per impressionare, ma dietro non c'è niente alla fine. So over there on that building you see one of these display walls with the shape of steps, right? So there are many buildings in Lubeck that have these display walls to make the building look larger. Now I see already one lady is sitting next to the smiling sitting devil. Now this is strange to have a devil in front of a church. Right now we are at the most elevated part of the island. In the Middle Age, the old town was divided in 4 sectors. And this place we are now was the place of the rich people. This place was the merchant district, the traders district. The merchants and the traders, they built the biggest and most impressive church because they had the means. And St. Mary Church has served as a role model for many churches in all Scandinavia that look the same in smaller. Now, the smiling devil, there is a legend about the sitting smiling devil. They say that when they were building the church, the devil passed by and he asked, "What are you doing here?" And they told him, the workers, "We are building a wine cellar." And the devil said, "Oh, I love wine, I love sin and vice, so I'm going to help you build the church, build the wine cellar." He built with them, the church got finished. I mean, it took at least 100 years to build this church. But anyway, at the end, he realized that they had fooled him. So he got angry, and this big stone on which he's sitting, he wanted to throw it on the church. And then they told him, "Calm down, across the street we are going to build a real wine cellar." And this is true. At the corner, you have the town hall wine cellar, Ratskeller, that still exists today. And I would say that the devil is sitting on the stone. He's waiting for drunken people to come out of the bar and takes their soul. Right.
What is in there?
May katigas picture?
What is through here? Drugs.
Why the brown bricks? There's
Right.
red and brown.
On
Is
this-
brown more expensive?
Well, I will tell you something.
Oh.
On the other side, behind me, this is still the town hall. This building belongs to the town hall. On the first floor, over there, you have the red salon, the red living room, where the furniture, red leather, the wall paintings, red. I was inside there, it's very impressive. Now, the dark color that you have here, this is the bricks. They use oak blood to mix it and get this dark color. It's just, it has no religious meaning or whatever, it's just aesthetic. Huh? Right, now, the ladies which want to go shopping, yes. The main street is over there. Please come with me, I will tell you where we meet again, otherwise you're never going to find us again. Oh, the rest of the group, please go this way. Ah, è vero, sì, scusate. Un attimo solo. have everybody?
Are you sure?
Okay.
Ayun na, bisa.
Behind me, this is the oldest pharmacy in Lubeck, the Lion Pharmacy. The building is from 1375 from the 14th century. The pharmacy is not so old. The pharmacy is from 1900, 1850, but it's the oldest pharmacy in Lubeck. One part is a museum. Now that we walk on the other side, you're going to see an interesting window. And if you look on the top, you see again the fake wall that makes the building look bigger. That has the shape of steps. To impress.
That's true.
They wanted to cheat, to make people think that the building is bigger, that they are richer.
Passad lang mo na po.
Allora, questa è la farmacia del Leone, la più vecchia farmacia da circa... After the Reformation, they became evangelical Protestant Lutheran.
Martin Luther.
And this church here was transformed to a Latin school over there, which is still a Latin school today, in Catarineum. So, we're going to enter now the Willy Brandt Museum. We see the picture hanging on the roof. So you can walk that way, and I will join you at the entrance of the museum. And down there, these little towers that you see, this is the Hospital of the Holy Spirit. And then we see a church on the other side. Bene. Allora, and unfortunately, he had no father. He was raised up only by his mother. His mother was a saleswoman in a department store, and she had a relationship with a teacher from Hamburg, but the teacher left, so they never got together, and she raised up Willy Brandt. She didn't have much time to spend with her son because she had to work. So Willy Brandt was also raised by his grandfather. His grandfather was a lorry driver, one of the first lorry drivers back in that time. And the whole family were, can you please close the door, Bruno, because they are hitting. The whole family was socialist. Then came the Nazi period, and Willy Brandt had a difficult time. This was the time he went into high school, and the Gestapo was checking who was coming into high school, and they didn't want to let him come into high school. So one teacher that liked him gave him a fake name, and with a fake name he could go to high school. Before the war, he immigrated. He went to Scandinavia, because if he had stayed, he would have been into prison. After the war, he was, for example, a journalist during the Nuremberg trials, where they tried the most bad personage of the Nazi regime. He was a correspondent for a Scandinavian newspaper. And then he got involved into politics. He became a member of the German Socialist Party. Now here we have a piece of the Berlin Wall. So in the 60s, he was the mayor in Berlin. The city of Berlin was divided for decades by the Berlin Wall. I think in the 60s, the Soviets decided to build this wall because what happened, the Germans from the east, they were escaping to the west. And they wanted to prevent people from escaping. This is why they built this wall. So the wall was standing from 1961 to 1989. And we had a few hundred victims that tried to escape from the wall. When you enter the museum, from this door there, you see one picture of a magazine called Spiegel. Spiegel is like the Time magazine for the Americans. It is the most famous magazine in Germany. And we see a picture of Willy Brandt in Warsaw, in Poland, in the ghetto, where he is kneeling. At that time, he was the chief of the German state. So during his visit to Poland, he asked the Polish for forgiveness for the atrocities of the Second World War. And Willy Brandt tried to gather Eastern and Western Europe. And he received the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1971 for his efforts to conciliate Europe. Okay? So you can enter over there, you will see the picture with, in the ghetto, and there are other pictures you can also see. In the old days, you had services that took place regularly in this room, and the people that were sick and could not leave their beds, they were laying on their beds just behind, the door was open and they could listen to the services. Here you have a model where you see what we call the long room.
Yeah,
This is the long room. The long room, we're going to see it, we enter from there. Now we are at the front, we are in the former church. The 7 contributors, you see their pictures behind there, the 7 traders that finance this institution. And at the beginning, the old and sick people, they were all laying on the floor. The beds were on the floor, there was no separation. In this long room, there were about 270 beds. And in the 19th century, they built small rooms, 6 square meters, very small. And people were living in these tiny rooms until the 1970s, seniors. So we can have a look at that. By the way, up here you have pictures of Saint Elizabeth of Thuringen. Saint Elizabeth of Thuringen was a noble. She was born noble family with fortune, and she spent her life helping the poor and the sick. When she died, she was very poor. She gave all her money. And after her death, she was named by the Pope holy. We see her life. Una stanza, non è una bella bella Questa è la stanza.
Look how small the rooms are. As a sample of one of the rooms.
So we are now in the long room. So at the beginning, there were 270 beds with 4 rows, and in the 19th century they built these small rooms, 6 square meters. We have 4 rows of small rooms. Every year at Christmas time, inside these rooms, we have a Christmas market. And this is one of the most famous Christmas markets in Germany. People are queuing at Christmas time to come inside and see the Christmas market which takes place in the small rooms, because it is not a cheap Christmas market. It is a handmade Christmas market with items from Germany, but from other European countries. Everything things made with love. So people are really queuing. This Christmas market that takes place here a couple of weeks before Christmas has a very big reputation in the country.
They still do it?
They still do it, yes.
We should have gone here instead of Munich and Nuremberg.
Right. Now, there used to be a common dining room, of course. You can see the dining room on the left over here. There used to be a common library, and 4 times per year, or 6 times, I'm not sure, the people got a warm bath, which was, for that time, for poor people, much worth. Yes. And they got 3 meals per day, and luckily, the building was not destroyed during the Second World War.
So the roof is
The roof is very good. Some things have been fixed, but some parts are finished. What is that?
That's really small. Yeah, that's really small.
Did you look inside?
Oh, this the
This restaurant across the street is a museum. It's a restaurant, but it's a museum at the same time. Remember, I told you, in the Middle Age, Lubeck, the old town, was divided in 4 areas. This area we are now was the area of the seamen and the fishermen. And this building that was built in 1535, it was the Maritime Association. And the name of the restaurant is Maritime Association. So the building hosted the Maritime Association, and in the 19th century, around 1850, it was transformed to a restaurant. If you go inside the restaurant, you find long tables and long benches. In the old days, the different maritime companies, they had their own table. On the ceiling, you have ship models hanging, very old ship models. It's a unique atmosphere. When you go inside there, you think you are going hundreds of years behind. It's very special. And many years ago, the cruise ship used to have lunch at this restaurant. But you can imagine it is a high-class restaurant, and they are not interested into welcoming groups any longer. It's also difficult to welcome a big group because you cannot have individual guests at the same time. Now, on the right side, there is a little green door with golden letters above the green door, and it says Gottes Keller, which means God's cellar. Because in the old days, in the winter, people, homeless people, and people with no money, they could go down, sleep, get some food. Today, it is a bar that belongs to the restaurant. Okay, now, the English-speaking guests, you can take pictures and you can enter the church. Bruno, will you please accompany